Men try to make you feel ashamed even of being hurt, even though that shame doesn't belong to you, so that they scare you back into submission. They scare you back into silence. Men make you afraid. Men make you shamed by saying, "Oh, like who hurt you?" Right? Because they want you to shut up about your experience because they don't want you to ruin their their reputation. They don't want to actually confront their nastiness and their evil. So they saddle you with like, "Oh, you're just a hurt woman." Like when people say like who hurt you, it's so stupid because men. Like if I'm talking about men, who hurt you? Duh, men. Right? But you're only saying that to her because you think it's funny to make fun of people who've been hurt by men. You think that first of all you hate women, but secondly, they tried to shame women into silence, right? By pointing and laughing, ha ha, you got hurt by a man, but then you're also joining in on hurting her, which is proving that she is correct. Men are awful, right? Like, because a good person wouldn't see somebody who is hurt, right? And be like, oh, who hurt you, right? A good person who sees somebody who's hurt would give them a bandage, would give them a hug, would be like, I'm so sorry that happened to you, right? They would try to center them, the victim, and try to pour into them goodness. A bad person, what does a bad person do? Make fun of, take advantage of people who have been harmed, right? Using people who have been harmed to elevate themselves. Shaming women, and it's so stupid and juvenile. Shaming women, it's just like patriarchy is so dumb because not only does it victimize women, but then it insults and then further victimize women for being victims. It creates this loop that women can never get out of. Women are the prey, right, of patriarchy. Women are prey. Women and children and everyone else, the elderly, the earth, all the things, are prey of patriarchy. And then when you say, ouch, this hurts, there is someone else that comes along and tries to brainwash you into believing that if you have been hurt by men, that it's somehow your fault. That, oh, you just didn't pass the test of being liked by men. And if you were liked by men, if you performed for men, if you performed submission to men, if you gave up yourself, if you quieted your voice, then maybe men wouldn't want to hurt you. Maybe then you wouldn't be so bitter, right? The truth of the matter is, if somebody has been bitter towards somebody, it makes sense that they would be embittered, right? If a person keeps experiencing harm with no restitution, no apologies, no what's the word I'm looking for? Reparation, no repair, no hugs, no apologies, right? Yeah, that makes sense why someone would become embittered. And we live in such a violent, oppressive, and abusive system that we start internalizing those same phrases that you would hear from an abuser, i.e., look what you made me do, right? I don't have self control. And you know that I don't have self control. And when you act a certain way, you make me do X, Y, and Z, right? Look what you made me do. You deserve that, right? The phrase, who hurt you, is almost like, oh, like, the only reason why you don't like men is because some man hurt you. Duh, dummy. That's what she just said. Right? Like, that's what she just said. So you agree that men are awful, right? Because the first thing that men ask when women present a certain way really just means like no nonsense. When women have boundaries, they try to shame women who have boundaries and women who can call BS from across the room. Like they're trying to shame women for being wise. They're trying to shame women for being smarter than the patriarchy, right? They're saying, you stupid woman, you won't bow down to me. You won't give up your power. You don't deserve protection. You don't deserve love. You don't deserve respect. You don't deserve an apology. Because not only were you hurt by men, which shows that you're worthless in the first place, right? That you're kindled for the fire. You're useless. Like men are such pick-me's for other men that men will see women who have been hurt by men and be like, oh, this woman either deserves to be used and abused, right? Like some other man did, right? Because some other man already did it. It's disgusting. Or they say like, oh, some man didn't pick you, so then you must not be worthy of love. Like patriarchy makes everybody a pick-me. We say pick me like when we're talking about women, but I'm starting to believe, and I understand what we mean when we say that, right? We're talking specifically about women who are like, pick me, pick me. But patriarchy makes everyone a pick me. Patriarchy makes everyone delusional. Patriarchy makes everyone stupid, makes everyone callous, makes everyone harmful and destructive, and makes everyone celebrate, right? The destruction of other people at the hands of men. We never hold men accountable. We're always giving them an out or an excuse. And then we say to the person who dare be harmed by a man, right? Which basically means if you are harmed by a man, they believe that you didn't submit to him, that you must have done something to warrant some man disrespecting you. And that usually means you didn't bow down and kiss the ring of men. That's it. You didn't give up your life for men. You stood up for yourself. You said, hell nah. You said what, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm thinking about the the color purple, right? And when they're like, oh, when they asked the woman, like, oh, do you want to be my maid? And she said, hell no. Nothing is wrong with her saying that, right? Like nothing is wrong with, hell no. How dare you ask me if I want to be your maid, right? But the society around her, because of white supremacist thought, right? White delusion, white cruelty, white violence. The people around her rally and like, how dare you, woman, not want to work for this white woman? How dare you, black woman, not want to kiss her ring? Like, it's the same energy, right? It's the same energy. And so then black men specifically go, oh, who hurt you? It's like, it's not the flex you think it is, because all I'm going to say is men. And then what are you going to say to that? Oh, well, men must not like you. Yeah, being liked by men is not a flex. Like, being liked by men requires way too much, like way too much with nothing back. Like, people are pick-me's for men because of survival. And men, it's like men don't even realize that women are pick-me's, not because they actually like men, but because they don't want to be hurt by them. The world is telling you all that men are awful. And men don't want to believe that for some reason. Like, men take women, using air quotes, submitting to them as something honorable. And it's like, no, your friend, your girlfriend, your spouse, your person, they're afraid of you. They're afraid of you. If you're married or dating somebody or friends with somebody that you can't share your experiences, your opinions with, your pains, even at their hands with them, you're in an abusive relationship. Like, that's not an actual loving relationship. If at every time you share how you've experienced harm, somebody makes fun of you for it, or calls you bitter, or says who hurt you, or uses your trauma as leverage to make fun of you and as reason to dislike you or to put you down or whatever the hell, they're abusive. That's an abusive person, because no person in their right mind would see someone being harmed or the effects of someone being harmed and say, ha ha, someone hurt you. That's sick. It's sick. And so every time a man says that, I'm like, oh, you're a sociopath. Got it. Like, got it. You don't have feelings, and you cannot, and you cannot be around me. Once a man starts to show me that they're callous and they actually make fun of women for being hurt, oh, you're a dangerous man. You will laugh at a woman's trauma. You will use it as a reason to disrespect her, or to, what is what I'm looking for? Like, discredit her, or to look down on her. Yeah, you're an abuser. And you enjoy the suffering that men bring to women, because it makes that woman more easy, or I guess I should say easier to exploit, easier to harm, easier to impress, right? Like, you love broken down women because it makes it cheap. Like, because in real life, your personality, you don't have the chops, you don't have the wealth needed to create good relationships. You don't have the stock, you don't have a good personality, you don't have ethics, you don't have morals, you don't have integrity, right? Like, you're a liar, you're an abuser. You like discounted things, right? Because you don't have what it takes. You don't have the moral fiber to maintain a relationship where the person can be in their full power, where the person can be loving themselves, can be centering themselves, and you still find them valuable and loving. No, because you're an abuser, and you like people who are destroyed because it makes it easier for you to come in and take advantage of them. That's the only reason why, in my mind, somebody would celebrate someone being harmed, is that they then get to harm them next. Like, yes, I'm next. This person doesn't know their worth. Yes, this person is beat down. Yes, I get to come in and swoop in and destroy her even more. And if you dare say the truth, men are mean. Men are disgusting. Men are exploitative, right? Men are violent. Men are whatever. Any other man will tell you this, right? Any other man who is worth his salt, right, will tell you, no, that's true. Men are violent. Like, and I've had some violent experiences. A real man will tell you this stuff. They're not afraid to admit that stuff, right? Men who have something to hide or gain from someone being hurt or harmed, those are the people that say, who hurt you? Who hurt you? because it's a taunting. It's not really asking because they don't really want to know. No matter what answer you give them, it's not going to be enough. They don't actually want to know. They don't actually care that someone hurt you. They're making fun of you for it. And then because they don't actually have the chops to be like, let's interrogate this. Let's talk about how men have been socialized, right? And have been rewarded for their nasty behavior. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how men act like toddlers because they don't want to have those conversations, right? About how men throw tantrums and say stuff they don't mean and do things they don't mean. And then they, blah, blah, blah. They don't want to deal with the consequences of their actions. They would much rather make you, the victim, the villain, which is what? What is that called, friends? It's called victim blaming. Ta-da! It's victim blaming. You saying who hurt you is victim blaming, as if it's that person's fault that somebody made them a victim. And then we even get afraid, oh, you got a victim mentality. That also is victim blaming. Yes, if someone has been victimized, they probably will have a victim mentality, and that's not wrong. That's somebody looking for justice and saying someone harmed me. I was a victim. It is only white supremacist thoughts and ideology that has convinced you you are brainwashed. If you think like this, you're brainwashed. They have convinced you that that's okay to say, to think, because they've also made you a victim. And they made you so ashamed of admitting that you have been victimized that you will never seek reparation. I'm not ashamed to say I've been victimized by men. Why would I be ashamed of that? Why would I be embarrassed by that? That somebody took advantage of me? That doesn't make any sense. And they're also making fun of you for now having better common sense. They're blaming you for being smarter than them. It's all misogyny, y'all. They're blaming you for being smarter than them, for being able to recognize an abuser before they even abuse you. Because now we're talking about, oh, give me the benefit of the doubt. I don't give men the benefit of the doubt anymore. No, once you show me traits, there are traits that abusers have, okay? They hardly ever deviate from these traits. And because I've been through so many abusive situations, I'm a pro at identifying abusive behavior and abusive traits and someone having the potential to be abusive, which is why I leave situations now. I don't stay and wait, because I used to stay and wait because oh, well, they say they didn't mean it. They say they didn't mean to hurt my feelings, right? Because the patriarchy needs you to be stupid. They need you to be pliable. They need you to be, what is the word I'm looking for? Because when I say this word, people usually mean it to mean something mean. I don't mean that. But I mean that they need you to be ignorant and ill-informed. They need you to be naive. That's the word I'm looking for. They need you to be naive. They need you to be naive. And let me say this also. Being naive is not a sin. Being naive just means you don't have experience, or you hope for the best, or you don't see something before it comes. That's not your fault. This world does a great job with gaslighting us and making us believe that we don't have the power or the smarts to be able to identify what we see with our own eyes. You know good and well what an abuser looks like. You know what an abuser looks like. You know what an abuser feels like. Or at least you know you don't like how you're being treated. That's enough reason to leave. That's enough reason to say, this is not my friend. That's enough reason to be like, oh, I'm out. Because you don't want to wait until something horrible and awful happens that you have to heal from to do that. You get to protect yourself. You get to protect yourself before the blows come. You get to identify this is a violent individual, and I don't have to wait until they show their violence physically to leave. Because violence doesn't start with action, right? Violence starts with thought. You think violent thoughts towards a person before you actually ball your fist, right? You think, I hate this person. You think, I need to best this person. You think, I'm better than this person. I need to destroy this person, whether with word or like with lying to them and pretending I'm their friend, but I'm not actually, right? Like that's an abuser. That's a violent individual. Lying to someone is violence. You know why it's violence? Because it creates a whole different separate reality for a person to live in that's not real, while the other person on the other end gets to control the narrative. The other person who lies to someone, when you lie to someone, you literally rip their autonomy away from them. They don't even get to make a choice with you. You are in control. That is a controlling tactic. Lying is about control. That is violence. You get to leave when somebody lies on you. You don't have to wait until they slap you or call you out your name, right? That in itself is violent. Making someone believe that it's their fault for being harmed, that is violent. That is violence. That is putting someone in a prison they don't belong in. And how white culture, which is all violence, it's all lies, right? White culture is all theft. How they have lied to us, and some of us have believed that lie. Yikes. But how they lied to us to make us believe that, oh, well, technically, they use technicality for everything. Technically, I didn't, blah, 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 right? Technically, I didn't say, you didn't have to say, your action said it. Honey, I could read you like a book. You don't have to say anything. I'm smarter than you because I don't use white supremacist talking points or logic to get through my life. I use reality. I'm actually grounded in reality. As naive as people think I am, or as in the clouds as people think I am, that's actually reality. And because I am the way that I am, I can see very clearly who you are before you even open your mouth. And before, I used to not be like, oh, well, I can't do that. I don't have the, no, I do have the power to do that. I'm wise. I have experience. I have years of decades at this point, decades worth of experience to know good and well when someone means me harm or when they don't. So when you ask this question, who hurt you? That is a violent question in itself. It is meant to cause harm. It is meant to hurt. It is meant to humble. It is meant to shame. That is a violent tactic that men use to silence women who they've hurt. Silence women who know better. Shame women for being smart. Shame women for being powerful, for standing fully in their power and saying, yeah, that person, I'm not afraid of you. That person, points directly at them. That person hurt me. And this is what they did to me. And they're betting on you being afraid to tell your truth. They're betting on you being afraid of someone saying to you, who hurt you? Next time they ask you who hurt you, tell them. If you want to, right? Like, tell them. My dad hurt me. You hurt me with that question. My friend hurt me. And this is how. This is what they did to me. Make them uncomfortable. Because they're not ready for an actual response. They're ready for you to run away and walk away. But when you stand in your full power, knowing good and well, I was about to cuss, good and well, that you ain't got nothing to be ashamed of, right? Who can do anything to you? Like, you can't shame me for the things I've been through because I own that. I don't try to run away from it. I don't try to throw it away or hide it. Like, it's not that. I didn't do that. I didn't do any of it. They did it to me. Why would I need to shame? Why would I need to be ashamed of that? Except that I live in a society that punishes victims. That punishes victims. We live in a society where all we do is victim blame. You should have known better. Well, ain't nobody tell you to take out no student loan. Well, all we do is victim blame. Because we don't have the chops or the bandwidth or the range emotionally. We don't have the emotional intellect to actually deal with the problems. We have been so brainwashed to believe that being a monster makes us powerful. And yes, you saying to someone who hurt you or making fun of someone who's been hurt does make you a monster. I don't care what you think about yourself. You are a monster. You're disgusting. It's despicable. And you can change it, right? But it's going to cost you something because this society doesn't want you to uplift others or empower others or to feel empowered. And I promise you, if you're saying that to other people, you're also saying that to yourself. You are victim blaming yourself, gaslighting yourself, which is why it pains you to see people standing in their power when they have been victimized, because that could have been you and that could be you. If you would stop making fun of, tearing down other people who have been hurt. And the thing of the matter is, if y'all would stop making fun of people who've been hurt, we could actually get some reparations. We could actually get some repair. But y'all are too busy trying to look strong when you look weak. You're too busy trying to look strong by denying that pain happened in the first place. When you look weak, you look like a liar. You are a liar looking to be blessed for lying. That doesn't make any sense. That's not actual reality. But I'm delusional. Okay. The truth of the matter is, if you cared more about people than you do now, you would be cared for more than you are being cared for now. We create the society. We create the reality we live in. And by you making fun of other people, you have also guaranteed that somebody will make fun of you. You put that out there, so it's going to come back to you. You could be compassionate, right? You could create a better future for yourself, but instead you want to double down on harming individuals who have already been harmed, who are looking for justice. How dare you look for justice? How dare you stand up for what's right? How dare you demand what you're worth? Like, that's what you're saying to other people. Shame on you. And shame on you for harming yourself as well. And shame on these systems for ever lying to you and making you believe that by denying yourself humanity, your feelings, makes you more human. Shame on those systems, and may they crumble. And may they all crumble outside of you as well. May it be ripped from you, because it doesn't make any sense. Listen to yourself. Who hurt you? And you're making fun of it. Sick. And I also want to say that the only reason why they make fun of you for being hurt is that if you are ashamed, if they make you ashamed of being hurt, if they make you ashamed of telling the truth, of calling out predators, of calling out abusers, right? That creates better cover for them to do the abusing. Only people who are invested in hurting people care about people being silent about their pain and trauma. There is no benefit to any of us for victims remaining silent. It hurts all of us. It makes this world less safe and more dangerous. And the only reason why they want you to be ashamed of being hurt or being a victim is so that they get to victimize even further without any accountability, without having to pay for what they did. Because you have already said to yourself, you know what? It's my problem because I'm a victim. It was my fault. It was never your fault. It was never your fault. And us participating in victim blaming culture, all it does is helps to facilitate a community and a culture where people are taken advantage of, and they never get restitution. They never get justice. That's what I'm looking for. They never see justice. And that in turn creates a reality where we will never see justice. Because how dare we deny someone else the right to their justice? Shame on us as a community. Stop doing that. Who hurt you? Stand 10 toes down and say it. Them, this system, that person, so that we can actually start addressing this stuff and we can start dismantling things that hurt. There is no benefit for us to shame each other or ourselves for being hurt or for being victims. It is these violent white men who have convinced you that you being harmed by them is somehow your fault. That is an abuser. That's how abusers think. That doesn't make any sense, y'all. So yes, that's the reason why these people say who hurt you. It's all the same. It's just victim blaming. It's just silencing and shame and trying to shame and silence victims so that the predators get to keep being get to keep preying on prey. On people they say are prey, right? People who are kind and naive and whatever, like people who may not know better or people who do know better. That happens all the time too. How dare you be powerful? How dare you know who you are? Let me cut you down to size, right? Because I feel small. How dare you feel big when I feel small, right? It's the same energy, right? It's this, we are so cruel to one another, and it's so silly and it's so stupid. It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense to make fun of somebody for being harmed. It is easy to do that. You know what's harder? Holding people accountable. You know what's harder? Changing our disgusting behavior and our disgusting ways and our disgusting thoughts. You know what's harder? Actually seeking justice. Actually saying who hurt you is hard. Especially in a culture like this, where you are not rewarded for saying that person hurt you. When a person comes forward and says this person hurt you, we automatically say like, oh, why did it take you so long to say something? Oh, are you trying to tear down another? Like, no, like that's victim blaming. And that's exactly the system they're trying to protect. And they're using you as a tool. How does that feel to be used as a tool of white supremacy culture? White, violent men delusions. Like, how does that feel? Does that feel good to you? To be used as a tool for building their society while it breaks down you and tears apart your own humanity because you turn into a monster. At some point, you start believing that. You turn into a zombie, lifeless, consuming on the flesh of other people who dare seek justice, who dare be human, who dare be kind. How does that feel? To be a tool in their belt, a cog in their wheel, a cog in their death machine. How does that feel? You should feel disappointed. You should feel disgusted. You should feel angry. You should feel like a victim because you are. You are, even though you're victimizing other people. And again, like I said, how you talk to them is, I know exactly how you talk to yourself. And it ain't cute and it's not kind. So yeah.